Welcome to the Sheer Business Inspiration podcast. Here you'll find conversations with business leaders, thought leaders, inspiring individuals who make a real difference. We hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Sheer Business Inspiration podcast. My name's Jo Ferreday and today I'm going to be having a chat with Mark Wilson. Mark is the Senior Director of BMC Mainframe Services by RSM and Interim Conference Manager and Manager for GSE UK. Mark has years of experience in the IT support industry, and in today's session we're going to be covering quite a lot in terms of recessions, selling a business in a recession, also peaks and troughs of business, and motivating and inspiring thoughts from Mark for any budding entrepreneur right now. We really hope you enjoy the session. Hi, and welcome to episode 4 of the Sheer Business Inspiration podcast. I am delighted to be joined by Mark Wilson today, and he is Senior Director of BMC Mainframe serviced by RSM Partners, and also Large Systems Chairman and Conference Manager of GSE. Thanks for joining us today, Mark.
Thanks, Jo. Nice to be here.
Yeah. But so Mark, for those of us that don't know you, can you tell us a little bit more about your roots, your journey to date, and where your journey into tech started?
Yeah. So it really started back in 1979, and I can't believe I'm saying that was over 40 years ago, which is quite shocking, really, because I still think I'm only 18. Quite bizarrely, I was at school, at school in Smethwick, in a school called Smethwick All Boys High School, and I always wanted to be a carpenter, but realised I developed an allergy to dust and dusty atmospheres, so I had to change. And for my last year at school, I did an IT course.
Okay.
And it was a CSE in computer studies, and went off and did the course, and that got me interested in IT. So I applied to join the Navy.
Okay.
I was going to join the Navy to do radios and electronics and radar.
Okay.
Went, did the interviews, passed all the tests, and finished school sometime in May of 1980. And the joining date for the Navy was 5 or 6 months on.
Okay.
And needed something to do, and went to the local careers office, and they had this thing called the Youth Training Scheme, a YTS. Yeah. And they said, "Oh, we might just have the thing for you." So I went to GKN in Smethwick, and met a gentleman by the name of Brian Wilson.
Okay.
Who had a son called Mark Wilson. So we were obviously very different people, and I had an interview with Brian, and they offered me the scheme for 6 months, and I ended up being there for 3.5 years.
Amazing.
Never went in the Navy, and started as a trainee computer operator, became an operator, senior operator, shift leader, and then moved on, and then ended up becoming a systems programmer, and then 1988, I got headhunted by a consultancy firm, and I joined a consultancy firm, and that's where the fun really started. So started going off, running around the country and the world. And then back in 2005, I started RSM Partners. And on March the 11th, 2020, we were acquired by a rather large American corporate company called BMC Software.
Yeah.
But suffice it to say, for 40 odd years, I've been a techie.
Yes.
And I get some of the most bizarre.
That's your roots.
Yeah, that's my route. Yeah, some of the real strange, bizarre requests, because people think you work in IT. They used to bring me the Skybox and say, "Can you fix the Skybox?" No, I can't help with that.
My husband gets that a lot. He does web development, and it's like a catch-all, isn't it? That people expect that you should know. every element of everything. But yeah, we do joke about that. So at the start of lockdown, you secured a deal to buy your business. So congratulations. That's just,
the timing was perfect.
Yeah, timing was really perfect. So can you share with us how you decided on the right buyer for that? Because I mean, obviously, I know what it feels like when you have your own business. It's like, you nurture it, you grow it, you want to make sure it goes to the right people, don't you? So tell us a little bit more about how you chose the right people to move it forward.
I'd like to say it was an easy decision. It wasn't. Myself and my two business partners, we agonized over this. We'd had a couple of approaches prior to BMC, and we'd looked at it and we didn't feel quite comfortable. The thing we were looking for is, because we're such a people business, we're the best part of 100 people with permanent staff and consultants who come and work with us. And it had to be the right fit for the team from a culture perspective and aspirations, but also somebody who understood what we do and why we do it. We had an approach a number of years ago, and they came in and they said, right, we want you to do this. And it was a complete change to what we do. Yeah. And we were saying to them, why do you want to acquire us and then change what we do? Mm. Yeah. BMC came and said, we want to take what you do and we want to make it bigger, and we want you to do it globally. Yes. And we don't want to change anything. Now, obviously things change. You go from a small business, BMC are a $2.2 billion corporation. So things change. But the real thing was, it was all about the people and the culture and the fit. And I can't believe we're probably what are we now, 6 months in, the best part of 6 months into it, and it's gone in an instant.
Blink. To be honest,
blink of an eye.
I don't mean this in a bad way, but I'm glad it has gone quick. To be honest, I think lots of people will probably agree.
I actually saw an interesting post last night from somebody on social media. It says, I think I'm going to put the Christmas tree out today and say goodbye to 2020. And it's August, I think that might be a bit premature, but
it's a little bit premature, but I think a few people will be happy to see the end of this year for sure. But equally, it's good to share the positives. We don't want to be talking about the doom and gloom all the time. There are good things that are happening out there, so it's important to share that and celebrate it as well. So obviously you've been in business a long time, and you've seen peaks and troughs, you'll have seen the recessions. What does resilience mean to you, Mark? What does that word mean to you?
Well, two very, very different things, because if I'm wearing my IT hat on, my technical director, my IT director, CIO, it means making sure that the IT systems I've got can actually suffer those outages that will undoubtedly happen, but I can still provide a service to my clients. So we talk about having 2 or 3 data centers. We talk about replicating the data. That's one word for resilience. For me as a business person, and what we tried to do when we were growing RSM, now Mainframe Services, is having, not just standing on one leg. And what I mean by that, when we started the business, we were a services business and we had one leg. So if this wobbled, the whole thing wobbled. Yeah. But then we added support, so now we've got 2 legs, and we've become a bit more stable. And then we added managed service, and you've got 3 legs. Yeah. So now, if one of them wobbles, the other 2 will keep us stable. And that's what I look for in a resilient business. Yeah. And we also took a look at the type of business we do. Largely we're a professional services business, so the work ebbs and flows, just like your husband with a web business. If nobody wants a website doing, then you've got no business. If nobody wants the projects we're doing, we've got no business. So a number of years ago we added managed service, where that's an annuity revenue that you can forecast for 2, 3 and hopefully 5 or longer years. And that builds resilience in a business. It's having that annuity revenue, almost a subscription. I've bought the services for the next 5 years. You can then plan as a business. with professional services that do this,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to plan. It's very difficult to invest. So resilience to me is a couple of different things.
Yeah, no, that's fair though, and that's, you know, it's important to understand from a business perspective what people need to think about. And you know, there's a lot of businesses that have had to, you know, adapt very, very quickly, because if they didn't, then they wouldn't be here. And equally, those who haven't adapted, you know, unfortunately, are falling by the wayside. And whether that's because they've adapted or whether it's because they weren't in the right shape beforehand, who knows the answer to that. But I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think you've got to adapt and move with the times, otherwise you get left behind, unfortunately. What would be your message to those who are considering setting up their own business at the moment? There's a lot of redundancies out there, but there are potential opportunities for people to set up on their own if that's what they're considering. So what would you say?
Just do it. I don't want to steal Nike's tagline, but just do
It's a
it.
great one though, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I think if you've got belief in what you are going to do, yeah, you have every chance of being successful. But if you don't have a go, you will never know. Yeah, I mean, this is my, I mean, RSM was my third business. The first one failed. The second one did okay. The third one was a success, and you won't get it right the first time.
No.
I'm going to sound really old now, but I don't know if you remember those old 1980s inspirational sports pictures, and there were hockey things about taking shots with the puck, and there was one which a basketball hoop, and all the balls are on the floor, the basketballs, and the tagline said, "You will miss 100% of the shots you don't take." Yeah. And there might be it might be an opportunity for somebody, but you've got to have passion for it, and it's not easy.
No, it isn't. No,
it takes a lot of hard work. You will need some luck on the way, but if you truly believe you've got something that people want, whether it's a talent or a product or whatever you've got, then go and have a go, because at the end of the day, we will come out of this recession.
Yes.
And there will be a bounce back. It's going to be a long road.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You can't stop the economy like we stopped the economy and expect to just turn it on and we're now at 100%.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. But there will be opportunities for the right people with the right ideas and the right skills and the right products. And I would just have a go. Yeah. I keep telling people I'm going to retire in 12 or 18 months' time, and they just keep laughing at me.
You'll do, what will you do? Yeah.
Exactly. You'll do something else, but yeah, I absolutely have a go.
Yeah.
And just give it your best shot.
Brilliant. Well, that's great advice, definitely. So you're also chairman and conference manager for GSE. Can you tell us a little bit about this great global association?
Yep. So GSE stands for Guide Share Europe. So it's the European half of a global network of organisations that sort of work to support people who use technology. So over in the US, it's called Share.
Yeah.
Over in the UK, way back when, there were two organisations. There were Share and Guide.
Okay.
But they came together in Europe. So GSE is all about collaboration, and it stands for give and take. Yeah, that's so. Yeah. It's people who run the technology and understand the technology, helping people understand the technology and run the technology. So it's all about collaboration. And so I've probably done every single role there possibly is in GSE UK. I'm involved at the European level because I'm now the interim UK region manager, because our region manager retired and I was the one slowest to step backwards. So I was the last person standing. Everybody, when they said they wanted a volunteer, I was still at the front and everybody else had stepped backwards. Yeah. But basically, it's about listening to the users of the technology, listening to the vendors, and trying to put everybody together so they can talk and they can collaborate. And that's why we run the conference.
Yeah.
exactly that.
and that's, you know,
Yeah,
it's such a great thing, like you say, give and take and sharing and collaborating. And, you know, it's been running for, you know, a number of years now, hasn't it? You know, so
yeah.
it's great to hear. How's the pandemic affected your association? How's that affected things for you at the moment?
I mean, pretty much like everybody else. Yeah, drop the hammer. Everything's now virtual.
Mm,
So we've done a number of webinars
yeah,
for our members and guests. The conference has gone completely virtual.
yeah,
I'm absolutely astounded at what we've managed to put on from a conference perspective, with a lot of help from yourself, I got to say. You know, it's it's a lot of social media. It's a
yeah,
lot of online events, and we've tried to keep we've tried to stay in touch with people, whether that's via mail shots or, as we've said, webinars and
yeah.
social media stuff. But it's like everybody's that instant pivot. You draw the line on, okay, we're not going to meet in face, so let's go virtual,
Yeah.
and that's what we've done. And we've,
And I think the difficulty is, like you say, it's the touch points, isn't it? You know, it's important, whatever happens, you know, if you are running a virtual event, it's important to have those touch points with your audience, that engagement, you know, talking and engaging. And, you know, yes, you're not going to be in the same room, but you are able to have that communication still. So you can still have some of the conversations you would have had face to face. I know it's not quite the same, but it's better than nothing, isn't it? It's better than no. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, this is a sad thing to say, but a lot of technicians are quite introvert,
Yes. Yeah.
but they become a little bit more extroverted when they meet people face to face in an environment that they're comfortable in.
Yeah.
They're not as extrovert on a video call like this, so we've had to tease some of
Yeah.
our members out.
The comfort zones. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had to tease them into turning the video on. Sometimes that's not the best decision we've ever made, because there are some sites, but I think using the technology like we are now, I think it's going to forever change how we collaborate. Yeah, as a group, as GSE collaborate as a group, we ran our first ever European wide management meeting on as a Zoom call, and it worked.
Yeah.
So instead of flying somewhere for 3 hours,
Yeah.
having 2 nights in a hotel, and
Mm.
then coming home, we spent 4.5 hours on a Zoom call, and it worked.
Yes.
And you kind of think to yourself, will we ever go back?
To
And I
how
think,
that was.
yeah, we of GSE are probably going to have to pivot. I mean, we're doing our conference this year purely virtual.
Yeah.
We're looking at the conference next year,
Yeah.
and I'm saying, will that be a hybrid event next year with half and half? So, yeah.
And you know, I think hybrid is a massive topic for especially for next, well, I think for the future in generality, to be honest. But you know, obviously everybody, you can't take away the live event, but I think you know, especially in a global association, you know, there may well be members that can't attend that physical conference, and if they can attend your virtual sessions that run alongside your sessions physically, then that's only a plus, isn't it?
Yeah,
So I
I
think
mean,
that's good.
look at some of the conversations we've had about numbers. I
Yeah.
mean, we typically get round about 550,
Yeah.
600 people at the conference. I think we could eclipse that a lot for some of the keynote sessions we're putting on. You know,
Yeah.
I think we could see 700-800 people on
Yeah.
the keynotes if the speakers are right, because they haven't got to travel,
Yes.
and all they need is 10 minutes before the keynote, an hour, and 10 minutes at the end for Q&A.
Yeah.
So they're taking out an hour and 20 minutes out of the diary, and then all of a sudden, they can attend, and that's what we're hoping. We're hoping we'll see the numbers lift because of it.
Well, I mean, it's encouraging that you've immersed yourself in the virtual event world. I mean, that's a great thing, you know. And I think it's your message about, you know, adapting to change, pivoting, you know, looking at, okay, we can't change the pandemic, the situation, but we can adapt and put things in place to support, you know, your association and your members, and that's really, really important. If you could give the listeners one inspiring positive message, what would it be?
So that depends. That depends.
Oh, which hat you wear?
Yeah, on which hat I wear. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you three slightly different answers here. A personal one. Okay, a personal one. I used to travel a lot.
Okay.
And would fly transatlantic sometimes twice, 3 times a month.
Yeah.
And over into Europe. Yeah, I no traveling. I've taken the opportunity to try and get myself a little fitter. I've lost 30 pounds in weight, and I'm running around a football pitch at 56 faster than I've ever run around a football pitch.
That.
So you know, for me,
yeah,
it's done me. Yeah, it's helped me.
Mm-hmm.
From a entrepreneurial view,
yeah,
with every downturn comes opportunity, and I think people need to be positive and look forward to what we can do going forward. We are in a massive state of change, not only because of the pandemic, but because of the political situation in the world and Brexit and all these things.
All these things, it's all
there's huge change, and with change comes uncertainty, but also comes opportunity. And I think my message to anybody is be brave. Be absolutely brave and have a go, because if you don't have a go, you'll never ever know. And you don't want to be sat there in 2 or 3 years time thinking, oh, I should have really done that.
It's the what if conversation, isn't it? Can you live with that what if conversation? And if you can't, then do something about it. Definitely. Without a shadow of a doubt.
And from a GSE and a work perspective, you know, I'm looking forward to certainly in IT, the change is even more magnified, because you look at the way the world is going by way of retail, and you know how much we do online. When was the last time you actually got money out of your pocket and paid something with cash? I use my phone, I use my watch, I use a contactless card. So all of this stuff drives change in technology, and we're going to see some innovation. We've got to see innovation in security. We've got to see innovation in availability. All of these things are going to come. And I know it's uncertain for a lot of people, but I really do think, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel. We can start to see the chinks of it now. But I do think we've got a few more months of wading through, you know, these terrible times. But we'll get through it, and it will start to come back. So, you know, as my father used to say to me, and still does, thankfully, he's come through all of this, and both my parents have.
Amazing.
You know, chin up, and have a go. And that's just have a go. Just just keep going.
And what's next for you? There's always a next. What's next for you? What have you got planned, or is that all top secret and we need to have you on?
No, it's. I mean, I've got a really interesting role with BMC. There are some changes coming in an organisation of that size. I've been privileged enough to sit in some of the in all of the senior leadership meetings around strategy and how we grow the business through to 2025 and beyond, and what they talk about, what they call it, the autonomous digital enterprise, which is somebody coming into this for the first time. I've never worked in an organisation like this. Has been really fascinating for me. So I've got a big job on for the few years. But I will let the cat out the bag. I am passionate about motorcycles. I have a collection of motorcycles. I restore them, and I think that's something I'd like to do in the future. But it would never be a true fully fledged business. I'm an IT geek, and I always will be, and I'm a mainframer and always will be.
No, that's
So
lovely. Yeah, no, that's good though. It's nice to have things that you enjoy doing and
yeah,
that, things that make you tick and a part of who you are, aren't they? So there's,
yeah,
that's all great. That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for taking the
pleasure.
time. I really enjoyed having the chat, and it's nice to have a really positive conversation about the current situation and it is difficult out there at the minute. There's as I say, it is a downturn, it is a recession, but there are opportunities, like you say, with every change and every dip in the road, there is an opportunity to come back stronger and better, isn't there? So
Yeah,
that's a great
absolutely.
message for people.
Yeah.
Fab. All right, well, thanks a lot, Mark.
Thank you, Joe. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Mark, for taking the time to speak with me today. I'm sure that everyone who's listened to this session will have taken some really positive messages from our conversation. So thanks again for taking the time to speak with me. Wish you all the very best with your future endeavours with BMC Mainframe Services by RSM and, of course, GSE. And we look forward to hearing all about your virtual conference later on this year. Now I am really, really excited about our next guest. Now, the next guest that we're scheduled for episode 6 is Mike Michalowicz. Now, Mike is a best-selling, well, he's an international best-selling author. He's a keynote speaker. He's a founder of a number of businesses, and he's also co-founder of Profit First Professionals and Prevendus Group. Now, there's many things that Mike is well known for, but he's been creating a range of fantastic business books. I don't want to give too much away, so keep your eyes peeled. We will be sharing some bits of information about our interview on social media. So please do follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Our YouTube channel will have all of our existing chats on there, so do subscribe to that, and we will be sharing a date and some information for the Mike Michalowicz interview very soon. So stay tuned, and thanks as always for listening.